the season and everything. The thing that I like to both cook and eat that gives me, a feeling of great satisfaction is risotto.
Hmm.
It's just it's simple, but it's simple, but it's not easy.
Right. Like it
Um,
is simple and it requires like a great deal of care.
yeah, you have to do. I think with risotto, you have to do everything at the right time.
Hmm.
Um, you could fuck it up a little bit and rescue it,
Uh-huh.
but you still have to. You don't just throw in raw mushrooms and think that's going to impart like mushroom flavor to your
Hmm.
risotto. You have to. Uh, I do anyway. I roast my mushrooms first, and I take a lot of care with the preparation. And I fall back on like my usual like shrimp and bacon on top
Hmm.
of the risotto too
You say
often.
that like it's a bad thing. That's
Well,
delicious.
it's just getting, it's like I do that too often. So I need
Mm.
to expand and find some new ways to like, complement the risotto. Um, like doing like braised short ribs or something like that
Ooh,
on
that
top of
sounds
the
good.
risotto would be good, or
Yeah,
pork belly or
that sounds
something
really
like
good.
that. But I do that shrimp and bacon thing a
Yeah.
little too often.
I always think of you when I eat risotto or make risotto because that's like the thing,
Yeah.
right? That's like your labor of love. That is what people ask for when they come to visit. And I always laugh on episodes of Top Chef because risotto is like the kiss of death. And I
Yeah.
just never,
Right.
it never like dawned on me that it was so like precise or, like detail oriented because I have just grown so accustomed to eating your risotto. Like it's just really funny to me to watch Top Chef and see these, famous chefs fuck up risotto. And my perspective has always just been like, oh, well, it takes patience, it takes, grace, but it doesn't.
Well, it
You
takes.
you have set me up for a very very high expectations of risotto.
Well, the thing about risotto is, and I don't know if it's me or if it's recipes, because every recipe I've ever tried to follow for risotto, they never have enough broth. They say, okay, and have, 2 cups of broth to add, slowly to your rice. Well, I finished the 2 cups and my rice isn't near
Yeah.
cooked enough. So I always, and every recipe I've ever read, and I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong. I should have Massimo come to dinner some night and have him do risotto with me and see. I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong because the results are like
Delicious.
really good.
Yeah.
Um, but when I read a recipe for risotto, it never seems to have enough broth. Um,
There's never enough broth. There's never enough time
yeah,
written into the
they say,
recipe. Yeah.
and they'll say add broth like 3 times. I add broth over a period of an hour.
Yeah.
Just, and every time it soaks up broth, add more.
Hmm.
And so and I don't know how they, on Top Chef, they ever think they're going to prepare risotto in 30 minutes because
Yeah, that's
it does
ridiculous.
always kill them. And
Yeah.
underdone risotto's bad. It's
It is
chopped.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, so aside from risotto, what kind of are there any food traditions that are important to you or like, feel significant?
Um, well, I hate Thanksgiving.
I know.
Just
The last time I was home for Thanksgiving, we had lasagna and it was great.
did we?
Oh, maybe that's
No,
Christmas.
we had lasagna. We did lasagna when we had
When
the
we had our big Christmas dinner.
big
Yeah.
uh, friends Christmas.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving traditions. I know that there are people that can cook a good turkey. I can't.
I don't think it's worth it to cook a good turkey.
Yeah, I mean, the best I've ever been able to manage is like just getting a turkey breast
Hmm.
and brining it and then grilling it. That's been okay. Um, I like Christmas dinner better than Thanksgiving dinner for sure. Um, and you know what? And Christmas dinner, I've done a lot of like prime ribs for Christmas, but I, I like just doing simpler things too, like short ribs and or to me, bolognese is a great Christmas
Oh, totally.
thing too.
Yeah.
And then I also like Christmas morning breakfast.
Yeah. That's what I thought of when I think of like food traditions that I associate with you.
Yeah, I like doing,
That.
like a frittata or
Hmm.
whatever, something you can do ahead of time and then just uh, pop it in the oven and
Hmm.
while you're opening presents and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Um, but
I think,
those are probably the two I would, Christmas dinner, Christmas Eve dinner, or whatever the big gathering we've done before,
mhm.
and Christmas dinner and Christmas breakfast.
Yeah. I think about those. And then the other like food tradition or like kind of, I guess we could call it a tradition at this point is like, is banh mi, shitty banh mi, or like hole in the wall banh mi places before concerts.
Oh, yeah. I didn't. I thought you meant, yeah, for sure.
Like not cultural food traditions necessarily, but your food traditions,
Yeah,
things that feel, important to either like make at a certain time of year or um that are kind of like rituals almost. And I think of standing in line at the Greek theater waiting to like get into a show and eating banh mi's on the sidewalk.
yeah. Those were good.
Yeah.
I had
And
to
that
walk a long way to get those.
I know.
I didn't. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, the after show hot dog cart is good too.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, um, I remember the first time, one time when Sawyer and I went to a Giants game, and we went to the banh mi place. I think it's called Saigon Sandwich on
Mhm.
Larkin in San Francisco, in the middle of the Tenderloin,
Yep.
and uh, I think I ordered both of our banh mi's. She goes, "Do you want them spicy?" And I looked at Sawyer, and he's like, "Oh yeah." And then we got them spicy, and then we were sitting at the Giants game, and I looked over at Sawyer, and I think he had tears running down his face because they. I mean,
They weren't kidding about the spicy.
yeah, that was a killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's funny.
others, I like, I think it's a tradition to go to whatever taqueria when you guys come home, and
Yeah.
um, or food truck, or things like that too.
Yeah. I mean, the taqueria is something that we can't get here. There's no. I mean, there's certainly plenty of Mexican food in Colorado, but there is
Yeah.
nothing quite like a taqueria Santa Rosa burrito.
Santa Rosa is blessed with taquerias. I mean,
Ugh,
it's like
very
next
true.
to what you know. Um, there's so many amazing places. They have
Hmm.
the new food, like they built this whole over there on Sebastopol Avenue
Yeah.
called Matote, and there's like they kind of rotate, but there's always like five food trucks there, and they have all kinds of picnic tables out and everything.
Hmm.
And there's even like a bar truck there now,
Yeah, that's fun.
and that's a lot of fun.
Hmm. That sounds fun. Um, is there anything that you're, before the world ends, which, is actively happening. Is there anything that you want to make sure that you get to eat?
Hmm. Um, I would like to go to Italy and go to Naples and have like true Neapolitan pizza, and go to Rome and have, you know, just the greatest carbonara that is available.
Yeah.
Like find out from locals,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
what's where do I want to go to Rome. I want to have the best carbonara in Rome. Where do I go? And I'd like to go. I would love to go to both those places and do like, I mean, 1 or 2 day cooking schools that they do.
Yeah, yeah,
Places
that
over
would be fun.
there. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that sounds
Um,
cool.
do like, oh God, what's the sitcom where the guy goes to Italy and to cooking school in Italy.
Master of None.
Yeah, yes, Master of None.
Yeah.
How did I forget that?
We don't endorse Aziz Ansari anymore, but that's a solid show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Um, but yeah, I'd like to do that. Those are probably, if I was going to go one place in the world for food, it'd be Italy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously food is great in all parts of the world, but that's the place that speaks to me the most.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds lovely. Cool. Well, I think that brings us to our closing.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for folks who like want to start cooking more regularly or who want to any final thoughts for folks who might be pursuing, a more thoughtful or intentional or pleasurable relationship with food and with cooking?
That's a question. Um,
Spot the therapist in the family.
uh, Salt, butter, acid, you know,
Yeah.
balance.
Hmm.
Uh, use good salt. Don't use Morton's table salt. Use good kosher salt or uh, good sea salt. Um, if a recipe calls for a tablespoon of butter, don't skimp on it. Use a heaping tablespoon of butter.
Hmm.
Learn how to make a good pan sauce. Learn how to deglaze a pan. Make sure your pan gets hot before you put vegetables in it, because if it doesn't sizzle, you're not getting any flavor.
um,
How's that?
we're laughing right now because this is a lecture that both my brother and I have received in times that we've come home and tried to cook. Like I said, the kitchen is kind of Perry's domain.
But I don't think it was a
And
lecture.
he has a penchant for hovering.
No.
Out of love. The intention is always warm and not always received that way. But the number of times that I have been scolded for putting oil in a pan that's not hot yet.
Well, that's okay. You can put the oil. You can let the oil warm up in the pan. In fact, I have been corrected on that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And